Hi, I'm Senator Tamara Bartolotta, and thank you for joining me here on Focus on the 46th. We're here in Greene County at Wilson Forest Products, and we're going to show you a phenomenal process that actually has been going on for 2,000 years. And I'm here today with Brian Wilson.
Hi, Tamara. How are you?
Thanks so much for letting us film down here and see what you do. Tell us what it is we're going to see today.
Well, today we're just going to walk you through the day-to-day life of the Wilson family and all of our employees, and we're going to show you everything from the log all the way through to a finished barrel.
So we're making barrels today. Like I said, a 2,000-year-old process, and it really hasn't changed a whole lot. But what you guys do here, you're going to be amazed. Here are the logs.
Yep,
that you
that's
start
our
with.
inventory of logs that we start with.
And this wood comes from?
This wood comes from the tri-state area, mostly Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We try to stay in certain areas because of our customers. They want wood from certain areas, especially Pennsylvania.
And so you go from the logs?
We go straight from the tree all the way through. We make the staves, we make the heading, we make the barrel. So we're a total in-house product.
So no waste, really,
No
very
waste.
little waste.
Very, very little waste. Every byproduct of our process goes either into the cooperage for the toasting room or into landscaping and mulch.
Even all the shreds and everything else,
Right.
the sawdust, everything has a place.
Everything has
Talk
a
about a renewable
We're
product.
very renewable. The one thing we definitely don't want to do in the wood industry is work ourselves out of a job. So we need to stay
Excellent statement.
renewable, we need to stay sustainable, and one way we do that is only purchase logs from certain individuals that we can trust are logging ethically or logging legally, responsibly as well, and then work with companies on the backside with the barrels that are in tune with that same idea as we are.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the whole process here, and I'm glad you're joining us. Let's go inside. All right, so Brian, you said we start with the logs from outside. Walk us through here.
Okay, the logs are coming in from outside. Well, the first thing that happens, they get cut in half. And then that half gets cut in half again. So we now have 4 quarters. Everything that we do, every stave and heading is quarter sawn wood. So what that means is the grain of the wood is running perpendicular with the board. So this is a stave. This is the starting point of a barrel.
Great. Okay. So we're going to go see the whole process.
Okay. We're going to go see the whole process. Exactly right. This is what we call in our industry a joining machine.
Okay.
This machine takes the raw stave, which is this. This is a stave.
Yep.
And it will transform that stave. It will double in trim, and then it will concave, convex, both sides, and then it will put a bevel from start to finish so that when it comes out the backside of this machine, that stave is it's ready to go into the barrel. This is an automation thing that we've included this year, and it's really helped us in production and with marketability of our product. So we're really happy with
this. So this is just for these huge barrels that we're going to take a look at. So it goes in the front end.
Correct.
And it does all those wonderful things you just shared with us. And it comes out the back. So how many times does it get cut or manipulated in this machine?
It has sensors and computers that read this stave as it's coming in. The very first process you're seeing is the double end trimming of the piece of wood, the stave, so that everything is the same size going in.
Okay.
Once it's double in cut, it's pulled through the machine, and then as it's pulled through the machine, the different heads do a concave and then a convex on the piece of wood.
Wow.
And then it's also manipulated side to side.
Cut right down in there, yeah. It's amazing. How many do you
barrels worth a day.
100 barrels.
Yeah.
And how many staves are in a barrel?
About 30.
Wow. All right.
Now this is the difference between where we started and where we finished.
Okay. Yep. That's a very big barrel. So how?
I don't know if the camera can get this, but you can see the concave, convex.
The curve here.
And then it's also narrower at each end
Yep.
and fatter in the middle. The middle is called the build. That actually makes the geometry of the barrel so that when you bend it, that it comes together the correct way. I was always the kid that said I'll never use geometry in class, but now I do it every day.
See? It comes in really handy. And there are different sizes here too. You see the large, medium, small.
And then this gentleman's job would be to make sure that it came through the machine properly, everything's right. If not, we can actually rejoint and do it again until it's correct. And this machine actually saves a lot of wood. So to our customers, that means sustainability, bringing things back into that recycled type, environmentally friendly type situation.
And we'll talk about the sustainability in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
A lot of activity going on here.
Now, this is the next, after we have everything jointed and ready to go, the next process is to set the barrel up. That's what every barrel, regardless of the size, has a diameter in the middle. That's the build. The barrels you're seeing here today are called Sherry Butts.
Okay. Okay.
That barrel is about 110 inches around the center. So those tables are 110 inches wide. Once that table is fit with all the wood it can take, you have a barrel.
There you go. There's that geometry again. You're using pi and everything here.
So these guys, they've been specially trained to do this. These guys, they'll make about 70 barrels a day doing this process. This is still a very hands-on type situation.
Yeah.
Now what they're going to do now
This is amazing.
is they're actually going to what we call stand the barrel up. So this is actually the first form that you would recognize as a barrel.
Okay. That's like choreography.
It's a little bit of a dance.
It is. That's incredible. That's amazing to see all the different sizes and the different widths of
Yeah,
all
and that's
those
the thing.
pieces. It's like
That's
a
why
puzzle.
it is a bit of a puzzle. And there is a little bit of an artistry to it.
Yes.
Because you have to be really good at putting that puzzle together. Not just, okay, it's just not every piece is exactly the same. Make a circle.
Absolutely.
It's making sure that all those little pieces do intertwine with each other.
Well, you said it's very much like an art, but how old is the art of barrel making?
Over 2,000 years.
2,000 years
Yes.
old. And we're still using this.
It's still basically
today.
the same process, just with a little bit more automation, that's all.
Wow. So what are these barrels going to be used for?
These barrels will be used for Scotch whiskey. Now, where in the world they're going to end up, I don't know. That it's a customer. We have customers in every area of the world, so it's just depending on what the order is for that day, that's where it's going to go.
Okay. So can you give us a name of some of your customers that might be using these whiskey barrels?
There's several different, the Suntory people in Japan, the Scotch whiskey guys in Scotland. There's different places around the world that are using our barrels.
So what kind of wood is
It's all
this?
American white oak.
American white oak. So do you ever supply these barrels for wineries? Because I know that there's a lot that will use American white oak.
We do.
Possibly
That's
for
another
Chardonnays
process.
or something.
That's another process we do, but we don't actually make the wine barrel.
Okay.
They'll buy the wood from us, and then we sell it to another cooperage like ourselves. That's a business of ours as well.
Fantastic. That's a very large barrel. barrel. How many gallons would
That's
this?
about 135 gallons.
Because I make homemade red wine.
Okay.
Well, homemade wine also, but we used to use oak barrels.
Correct.
But now I've gone to the steel tanks. But still,
Well,
you
maybe
like
we
to.
can change your mind.
Yeah, I know. Or at least to put the oak in it. And we're seeing, for whiskey especially, they char the inside of
Charring
the
the inside of the barrel.
barrels.
That's the next step after the setup.
Okay.
This is what the setup barrel will look like.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
From here, we move into the toasting room. The toasting room is exactly what it sounds like. You're toasting the inside of the barrel, and then we'll eventually char the inside of the barrel.
Oh my God.
What differentiates us from a bourbon cooperage is we're toasting the barrel first and then charring it. They're charring it from the get-go.
Really?
We're not using any natural gas, anything like that. These fires are 100% wood-fired fires.
That changes the taste.
That adds to the flavor of the whiskey. This is the first step in the process. Now we've heated the barrel enough that the wood is pliable. The water helps make it a little bit more pliable. So as this machine will slowly bring the barrel together.
Oh my gosh, look. We can watch all these pieces come together and form the other end of that barrel. That's amazing. Wow.
And as that's coming together slowly, you can start to see the geometry come into play.
Yes. So there's really,
No,
you're
this
never
process
reinventing
hasn't
the
changed
wheel.
in 2,000 years.
Oh my God. But were they charring the insides of the barrels
Yeah.
2,000 years ago? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the only way you could actually vent it. Or
For the
they would toast
toasting
it.
anyway. Yeah.
So maybe not exactly charring, but
Right.
toasting anyway.
But just learning the different techniques and the length of char and the different flavors.
Yeah, I mean, the scientific part of it's gotten a lot better in the last 2,000
Yeah.
years. But yeah, I can dial in. We here, our guys are very good at what they do. And we can actually, if you're our customer, you say, this is what I want my whiskey to taste like. There's a certain amount of range I can play with that I can get for you. I mean, we talked about charring earlier. There's a level 1, 2, 3, and 4. All 4 of those add something different to the whiskey. So these guys, this is kind of the real artistry right here of the whole thing, because these guys have to know if it's a level 1, 2, 3, or 4, because they're the ones that are going to dictate what that barrel will eventually taste like.
Sure. That is fascinating. What's the next step after they've charred the second end?
The next step after toasting is we bring the barrel out. They make sure the staves are all, he's pounding them out so the whole barrel is even all the way around. After that, he moves it into this machine, which is called a crozer. Crozer is a machine that cuts the inside of the barrel so that the head can have a place to rest. So it makes a groove on the inside of the barrel. So this is the crow. This is what we call the crows.
Okay.
Right here. Right here's the groove that it's cutting.
Yep.
That's where your lid or your head, what we call a head,
Yep.
that is cut at an angle so that it fits tight in here.
Yep.
We don't use anything unnatural to put this barrel together. Everything is, there's no glue in between the joints, nothing. So it's all wood on wood.
And pressure.
It's pressure holding it together, right.
Fantastic. And you see here, for the bung.
That's the bung, yeah. That's where the
bung
liquid
goes
we
in.
put in or out.
Yep.
You can actually smell that. Kind of a toasted bread.
Smells fantastic.
Oh, thanks. It's like I said, these guys have been doing this for a while, so they.
So what number char would this be?
This is probably a number 2.
Okay.
Because you don't quite get that alligator skin look.
Yeah.
It's a customer. They just they want when they
That's a
place the
certain
order,
level.
they say
Yeah.
this is it. Number 2 is it. So maybe a number 3 we might have had it on fire for just a bit longer, so that you do get that penetration into the wood.
If anybody's had a campfire, you know what the logs look like at different stages. after they've been on fire. Cool. So where's the metal come from?
We're buying this metal from a guy from a company in Ohio, Youngstown. So we try to keep everything as local as we can. Like all of our timber is from a 150, 200 mile radius.
Great.
Most of it's in Pennsylvania. So that's also a marketing thing for us. For a lot of Pennsylvania, like some certain people make whiskey in Pennsylvania. They want to use a Pennsylvania barrel. So we have that going for us as well. We source a lot of our products from the alternative products around here that you're seeing from Pennsylvania. Obviously, some of the machinery, there's some of the machinery is from Europe. That's just where we have to buy it. But we try to stay as local as we can.
That's great. And this company's been around since 1931, am I right? So it's a family-owned business.
Yes.
It's just been...
I'm a third generation, so we're trying to keep it going.
That's
so
great. Very nice.
We're doing okay.
Excellent.
But here, once this is closed, we'll keep moving along. Once
after
this
this
is
step?
closed, we're looking for to put the lids in.
Okay.
This is this is what it looks like once the lid's put in. Since these barrels are so tall, we have to put the lid in on each side. So what he's going to do is he's going to loosen those working groups up just a little bit so that he can get enough room to put the head in, and then he'll drive them back down to make it tight again.
Okay.
As you can see, these two hoops right here, that's the actual finished hoop. That's the last one before the customer gets to the barrel. That's what they look like. Now he's tightening it back down. He's got the little tool in his other hand. He's making sure it's staying where he put it. He'll tighten it down just enough, and then that little tool is thin enough to just pull it right out. This is where you build some muscle. These guys don't need to go to the gym.
They don't need to go to the gym at all. No.
We're going to skip by this for just a second and go to the sanding process.
Oh, wow.
Once both heads or lids have been put in the barrel, this is what the barrel will look like.
Okay.
You can see it's kind of dirty. You can see where the working hoops have been. This machine will sand the barrel, tip the top, and then make it look brand new again.
How long does that take?
It takes about 2.5, 3 minutes.
That's it.
Now once it gets sanded, it comes back here to this gentleman, and he puts the final hoops on.
There we go. All dressed up and ready to go.
All dressed up and ready to go. Before and after for you.
Yeah. This is all those works. Nice and smooth.
Big difference.
Yeah. Oh, big difference. Very nice.
Put this one right here beside this one, please. Before, after, and finish.
That's great. And then you just stack them all over here.
Then once they're done here, we put them in the inventory. He's making sure that they have to cauterize the bottom so that the stopper they use doesn't stick in the wood.
Yeah.
He's just finishing it up. So once they're completely done, they get stacked back here behind us. That's when they're ready for shipment, waiting on a truck to pick it up and take it to wherever its new home is going to be, or it goes in an ocean container and then it goes to wherever in the world it needs to go.
It's a new home. So how long does it take, let's just say, to go from
fairly quick process. I mean,
And it's non-stop.
it's non-stop. You have to
Non-stop.
keep moving. Right.
Well, because how long will, say, a whiskey company keep a barrel and use it and before they have to get a new one? Because I know they don't reuse the same barrel.
Typically, they'll do about a 25% rotation every year. So just to keep the math simple, if you're using 100 barrels, you want to buy 25 new ones every year. So that barrel's life, though, is all dependent upon what type of whiskey, how long they want to age it. I mean, we have barrels that have been out there for 60 years because it's just what the customer is wanting. And now that barrel can also be reused for someone else
Right.
after that whiskey's been used.
Well, I know a lot of
barrel.
homemade winemakers, they love to get the old whiskey barrels
Yeah,
and use that
yeah.
because that'll kick you right in the head when you make your homemade wine in a whiskey barrel.
Well, and you're also
I never
reusing
did
a
that,
product, and it helps you too.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go see
Go
this,
see that.
where they end up.
And once we're done with this process, like I said, they all come over here and they get ready for shipping.
Wow.
Now, what this gentleman's doing over here in the corner is we select about 10% of our barrels to be tested just to make sure they're not leaking, there's no
okay.
problems. If we notice something after the sanding process, we put a T on it with chalk to say that this one we think might have a problem. Let's test it. So he's over there, he fills it with about 3 gallons of distilled water, puts a rubber bung in the hole, fills it with air, gives it a little bit of pressure. The water will, if there's going to be a leak, the air pressure will allow the water to come out of the barrel.
So these barrels are so tightly fitted that you don't have to soak them before
No,
filling
because
them?
usually the customer's going to get them fast enough and they're going to use them as soon as they get them, that we don't have to worry about that. It being a natural product, it can move if you let it sit around for 6 months.
Oh, yeah,
it's
because
going
it'll
to move
dry out,
around.
it'll
Yeah, it's
shrink
gonna
a little
dry
tiny
out,
bit.
Shrink a little bit. And it's, but our customers are using these fast enough that they don't have to worry about it. They may get a little bit of seepage or something, but once their liquid or whiskey is in that barrel, it's going to expand it back out. So
Yeah. When they get them, they're ready to go to work.
they're ready to go to work. Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Brian, I can't thank you enough for
Well,
showing
thank you,
us.
Cameron, for coming out
Absolutely.
and
This
visiting us today.
Yes,
We had a
it-
great time showing you what we do, and hopefully you guys did as well.
We did. We really
Good.
did. And I want all of you, if you have a chance, I'm sure you would welcome some folks to come on down here to take a look and see what it is you do, because unfortunately we don't have smell-o-vision. But it smells amazing here, and it's truly a remarkable process, and it's a great family business, and we're so glad that you're right here in Greene County with us. And I hope you join us again right here on Focus on the 46th.